Good morning, dear viewers, students and pupils of our English lesson. I'm going to start our English classes, and my topic for today is reported speech. As you see, today is the third day when I'm going to explain this topic for you, and it's conclusive day for this topic for reported speech. Well, let's start our topic. For the first of all, I'm going to revise a little bit some key moments that we have already discussed on the previous two lessons, which were devoted to reported speech. Well, we were discussing main sentence in present tense, so how should we change and what should we change in subject clause when we have main sentence in present tense. Actually, it's really simple, so main sentence in past tense. We also were discussing this aspect, and I gave you some table, I gave you some information. How should you change tenses in your main sentence if it is fixed in past tense, author's words. Also, we were discussing future tense. Now you know that you should change future tense into future in the past. And modals, we have some particular details that we should mention when we talk about modal verbs. So, for today, I prepared also several aspects. It's like our plan for today. I will explain you exclamatory sentences or suggestions, comments, orders. We have some particular structure, some other rules that we should follow when we transform direct speech into indirect. And interrogative sentences, so in other words, reported questions. And also we have some short answers. People used to call such kind of questions like yes, no questions. Well, let's start from questions. And actually, before I will tell you how should we transform, I would like to mention that our questions are divided into two types. The first type is general questions, or another name like more simple, like slang, yes, no questions. What kind of questions I'm talking about? So, do, are, and have. Pay attention to words which I fixed at the beginning of these three questions. I fixed auxiliary verbs, do, are, and have. Actually, we cannot create question in English language using only our intonation in comparing, for example, with Russian language or other languages. We should change order of the words in a sentence. So, in any of 16 tenses of English language, now I mean active voice, also you may do the same in your passive voice, we should put auxiliary verb in the first place in your sentence anyway. After that you will put subject and verb. So general questions are those questions that we should write from auxiliary verb. And how can we act with such kind of questions? Before I will show you some structure, some examples, please pay attention to this table. It's really useful. So, subject and predicate. Actually, we may divide our sentence into different parts, into different words, but we have the main structure. The main structure is a subject, so that is doing an action. So, and we have predicate, contains the action. So, as a subject, we may fix noun, pronoun, we may fix any name, and as a predicate, we, as a rule, use some verb. So, remember the word predicate because I will use this word, that's why I've showed you this table. So, predicate in main sentence. when we have main sentence, I mean author's words, in our usual sentence, in our statements, or, like scientific name, declarative sentences, we may face with a word like say or tell. He says, or he said in the past form. As a rule, as a predicate, we use say. In questions, in interrogative sentences, interrogative is like more scientific version of this word combination, we should use ask, inquire, interest, want to know. So we should change some words in order to show that it's really a question. It's not just simple speech, it's not just simple statement. That's why it's better to use such kind of words. And now you may compare to these types, two sentences, and union. I told you that we have word that is like a union. We may use it or we may exclude this word from our sentence, I mean declarative sentences. Usual sentences when we express something, when we say something, but in interrogative sentences we have other unions. We have two unions, if and whether. Actually, they are similar when you talk about reported questions. They are similar, they are like synonyms, and you may use any of them. It won't be a mistake if you will use one and if you will leave another one. So, and in comparing with declarative sentences, you cannot leave them or exclude from the sentence. So that you may use or may not, but if or whether you must fix in your sentence if you transform your general question into reported speech. Well, now example itself. So, she said, is it raining? In our direct speech we may see such kind of sentence. In reported speech it should be transformed like, she interested. Actually, we should change our word said to interested, and we, as you may see, added word if, union if, instead of auxiliary is. And pay attention please that is it was changed to it was. For the first of all we changed tense because interested is in past and we should equalize to these parts main sentence and subject clause. After equalizing, we should change order of words in the sentence. We should change some order of question to other statement, to statement. Well, next example is, he said, did you come by train? It's also a question, and you may see how should we change. We may use another word. It's synonym to the word ask. So I fixed the word combination with a blue color, and with the red one I fixed word whether that you cannot exclude from your sentence. You must use it in order to show that you transformed question into just a statement in reported speech. So, and after that you may see that past tense we should, simple past, we should change to past perfect, and we changed question order of the words to statement. It's really important because if you will leave order of the words that we have in our questions, it will be a mistake. Next one is, she said, have you been to Bristol before? And in our reported speech, she wanted to know. In other words, that is also possible to use instead of said, and it is synonym to ask. So something would like to get some information. Then if, union if, and again, I had been to Bristol before. It's order of the words that we should use in statement. The next one, not only question but also answer. As I told you before, we have general questions, and for general questions we have short answers. Why short? Because it's possible to answer yes or no for such kind of questions. So, as you can see, I fixed some example for you. She said, can he type? Here I start my direct speech from modal verb can, and I equalized to that parts in reported speech. As I explained on the previous lesson devoted to reported speech, she asked, fixed in past tense, can I transformed into past tense? Could. And if is a union, is a connective word, so it's simple. It's already the third example that I show you in reported questions. And answer. Please pay attention to the answer. You cannot answer only yes in English language. You may just in your slang when you're chatting with your friends, but in official language, in official chatting, you cannot. You cannot when you write some letter at your examination. It's impossible. That's why you should fix also pronoun and auxiliary verb. Here it is a modal verb because you know that modal verb takes function of auxiliary. That's why it's possible to use modal if it is possible. Here it's possible, here it's suitable even. So she said, yes, I can. Yes, I can is not just statement. It's not a question. That's why in your reported speech it will be, he answered that. So I explained how to transform such kind of sentences at our first lesson that I devoted to reported speech. He answered that he could. I equalized two that parts, so both of them in the past union, that everything is okay. So I hope that everything is understandable about questions, about general questions, or another name for them, yes, no questions. Now another type of questions is special questions. Special or WH questions. Special, it's more official name, like more scientific, and WH is more informal. Actually, not all the questions or question words we may start from W and H. For example, how it started from H, but actually the most part of such kind of words are started from W and H. When, what, why. Here I fixed some examples in order to show the difference between general questions and special questions. Remember, special questions will start from special words. So, what is your name? He asked me. How should I transform it? He asked me. It stays in the past, of course. We may leave word ask, because it's really suitable for such kind of sentence. We cannot fix there say. It will be a mistake. But ask, it's okay, it's perfect. Then, what? In such kind of questions, in interrogative sentences, special questions, when we have some special question word, we must leave it. So, what or when, why, and so on. You must leave it. It will be your union in a sentence between main sentence and between subject clause. So, he asked me what, and after that you should change your question order to your statement order. So, my name was, we have subject for the first of all in our statements, and after that we have predicate, verb in other words. Well, another one. Where are you going? Another tense. So here we may see present continuous tense in our direct speech. In a direct speech we equalized main sentence and reported sentence. So now present continuous transformed into past continuous. She asked where. As you can see, I fixed where with a red color because you must leave it, you cannot change it. If you exclude this word, it will be a great mistake. You will lose the meaning of your sentence. It won't be question, it will be just statement. What time does the train arrive? She asked. She asked what time, and by the way, pay attention to what time I highlighted with a red color, not only what, but what time, because it's some other question. We'd like to detailize the time, some particular moment, so that's why it's like a word combination for question. She asked what time the train arrived again. Author's speech, in author's speech we use ask, after that union what time, and after that our subject and verb instead of other, order, like in a question sentences. And of course you should exclude, you should just put full stop at the end of your sentence. Another one. The policeman said to the boy, "Where do you live?" So I highlighted said to because it's possible to use say and said, if it's past form, in your direct question. It's possible because we have our other subject clause in text. But when we leave that moment, we should say ask, and where stays. After that, he lived. Order of the words like and statement again. So it's some short table in order to fix in your mind questions, in order to fix in your mind special questions. As you can see, everywhere I fixed word, question word, where. After that, it's question, predicate, subject. Can you see order of words in a question? And after, in reported speech, it will be just statement because we're not asking, we're just retelling someone's question. It's not a question already. He asked where, after that subject and predicate. Can you see that subject and predicate exchanged their location? The same situation and sentence where we have auxiliary verb. So actually we have auxiliary in order to create question here. After your question word, as a rule, you know that you should use auxiliary verb that is suitable to particular tense, and you go. So he asked where she went. We excluded our auxiliary verb because it is not necessary to use in statement in such kind of tense. So that was information about your special questions and how should you transform your questions into reported speech. So now reporting orders and requests. Actually we have such kind of sentences, not statements but orders, when we would like to give some comment. Well, now please look at some example. He told me to go away. So someone gave some comment to go away, to leave some area, to leave some room or other place. What about structure? You may see structure. It is fixed with a red color, verb plus indirect object. So who takes action and to close. To is close. I will explain you what should you do. So I have some examples, of course, for you. And before I will show you some examples, please look at the words, at these words. So comment, order, warn, ask, advise, invite, beg, teach, forbid. All these words are used when you talk about some comment, mostly when you talk about some comment. You should use them in your main sentence in reported speech, as we used, for example, ask in our reported questions in interrogative sentences. So here in our exclamatory sentences, we should use these words. Not say, not ask, but this one. So, example for you. The doctor said to me, stop smoking. It's possible to fix in your sentence, in your direct sentence, said to. I explained you, if I'm not mistaken, in our first lesson with a reported speech. So, in our reported sentence, you should change said to told, because we have person who was told. So the doctor told me. To is excluded, as you see. There is no necessity, but we have participle to before our verb. So it's a peculiarity that you should follow in all the orders, in all the comments and suggestions. So participle to before verb, before our clause. If you will exclude it, it will be mistake. Like if you will exclude whether, if in our questions. So here you cannot exclude, you cannot leave, you must use participle to before your verb. So we know that comments we should start from only verb. Stop, go, sit, write. So we should put participle to only in order to transform direct into indirect speech. So, another example for you, please. Get out of the car, said the policeman. So, the policeman ordered. So, another variation, another word, ordered him to. Again, to. I highlighted with a red color, please. Remember, sometimes people may just leave this word and that's all. When you will have your tests, you should choose that answer where you will have to between your before your verb. In variation. If it's really understandable that it's suggestion, it's order, it's some other type of such kind of sentence. Or another version. Could you please be quiet? She said. So here it's like not order, it's like some recommendation or it's some offer. So she asked me to be quiet. Can you see that word please? We should leave, we should exclude in such kind of sentences, because please we fix when we say something and we have some person to whom we may say this word. When we retell someone's words, we cannot use it. So please should be excluded from the sentence. That's why only main, meaning only main idea. So she asked me to be quiet. Another one. The man with the gun said to us, don't move. It's another type of sentence, it's a warning. What does it mean, warning? It's such kind of situation when person would like to say that you shouldn't do something because maybe you will have some problems after that. Okay, and here you may see the man with a gun warned instead of said, warned. How should you choose such kind of words? Asked, warned. You should understand from the meaning of the sentence. You should understand yourself if you don't have any options. Well, not to move. Can you see that sentence in text is negative? If it were positive, we could see just move. But here it's negative, don't move. How should we act in such kind of sentences? In negative sentence in our subject clause. So we should add only participle to before, participle not before to, not to move. Okay, now requests for objects. So, for example, we may have such kind of situations where I would like to ask someone for something. It may be quite polite. So, requests for objects are reported using the pattern. So, we use something, we'd like to show that we use something. So, our structure is asked for in a reported speech plus object. Well, now please, can I have the newspaper, please? So it's quite polite. We're asking for something. He asked for the newspaper. As I told you before, he asked for. It's like standard construction that you may use. If you will use it in all such kind of questions, it's okay, it's perfect. The newspaper is just saying it's patterns that we use in order to explain our idea. Next one is, may I have a glass of water? He said, and again, he asked. We should change said to ask for a glass of water. You shouldn't add any other extra information, just only ask for and think what he's asking for. Next one is sugar, please. It's quite short. It's quite short but meaningful. It's clear what is necessary for someone. So again, the same structure, standard structure. She asked for the sugar. So for what? Only pattern necessary in the sentence, and that is all. So, and suggestions. For suggestions in our reported speech, instead of ask or say, we may use such kind of words like suggest, insist, recommend, demand, request, or propose. Please remember these words in order to beautify your speech. It's really good idea to use different words in your speech, but not only one, suggest and that's all, or ask and that's all. Especially when you write your letters, your essays, your tests, examinations, it's great to enlarge your vocabulary, to enlarge your essay with such kind of words. Well, can you see that sentence in our direct speech and 4 variations in indirect? Actually, not only 1 variation, but 4. We may use any of them, and all of them are correct. Now, please, why don't you go to the doctor? He said. Our direct question, and it's like suggestion, it's recommendation that you should go. You have some problems with your house, you should do that. Well, the first variation is, he suggested I go to the doctor. Not me, but I. So next one, he suggested that. In comparing with the first sentence, you may see that here we fixed union that. And the rest part of the sentence we have like in the first one. Only difference is a union that. So we may add it or we may exclude like in the first one. Now example number 3 is, he suggested I should go to the doctor. So here instead of that we may use should, and should may be fixed after pronoun, after I. After object, and he suggested, number 4, that I should go to the doctor. It's also another variation. It's similar with the third one. The difference is one addition of union that, of pronoun that I should go to the doctor. I think that the first one is the most spread among people. They express their ideas using mostly of course, the first one, but actually you may use any of them in order to express your sentence in reported speech, I mean in suggestions, when you ask for something, when you recommend something to do something. It may be strong recommendation or it may be like advice. So it's okay if you will use any of them. So that is all about suggestions. You may see at such kind of construction. Suggestions are also maybe expressed like in these three ways. For example, let's. It's an advice. You would like to do something and you are asking about this idea from other people. Another one, why don't we plus verb? So it's also some offer. The third one is suggest in a sentence. Suggest in a sentence we have already discussed on the previous slide. 4 examples contained the word suggest in sentence. So that is everything about our suggestions, about our exclamatory sentences and questions. So now you know that you should put participle to when you talk about offer, about order, but when you have some suggestion, you should use some participle like that, should, or maybe exclude that participles. So that is all for today about reported speech, and we finished our topic reported speech. I hope that everything was understandable, that you've got some information, that you've got some new knowledge about the topic, because it's really important to know it, and it's really popular at your tests, at your examinations. So if you will have any questions, you may send your letters and questions to the email address that I fixed on the slide. And also, if you would like to get some preparation for International House Toshkent Academic Lyceum, you may call to the number that I fixed also on the screen. And before I will say goodbye, I'd like to congratulate all the people of our country with the coming holiday, with the 9th of March, Memorial Day, and wish you to be healthy and, of course, peaceful sky above your heads. So, goodbye, thank you for your attention.